Yeah, hello. Good morning, everyone from Chicago, somewhere I mean, did I just say Chicago? From Michigan. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, today I want to talk about one important topic because I've seen some fell victim, and then it's one of the questions I've been asked by many people who want to write, their cold email, statement of purpose, letter of recommendation drafts, and all those things. And that is why I want to talk about this because it's a challenge for many people. Should you use AI like GPT and other stuff to write some of these things? Before I answer that question, yes or no, let me share a story. A friend and a professor friend that he shared with me, and then you know people sent application to him. He was searching for students, and people sent applications to him. And interestingly, someone deemed it fit to use ChatGPT or whatever to write the code emails. And I've seen people come to me in DM saying, showing me a letter, say this is what I want to write to this professor. And even me reading that, you could see you could feel the robotic vibes from the write up from the letter. So this person wrote him and then used ChatGPT to write his what do you call it? Cold email. Not even code now, it's one because there is an application, and use ChatGPT to write. So people will always say that flavor of artificial intelligence. For example, if you have seen some comments even on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever, people go to use ChatGPT or some other AI tools now to comment, to write things, it is always obvious. Many times it is always obvious. So the question now is this: what is the disposition of the professors? What is the disposition of the uh, admission committee, whatever, to using AI tools to write your letters, to write your statement of purpose, to write your essays, to write all these things? Number one, don't ever think they will not know, because there are even AI tool checkers. They can turn it in into some of these things and check for AI stuffs there, and then they will discover that this is written with AI. Number one thing you must know is that many of these professors, the admission committee folks, they want to see your original idea. Okay, they want to see your original idea. They want to see that this is coming from you. This is an idea emanating from you. That's what they want to see. Okay. Toby Goshina, nice having you here too. Timmy Oloa, nice having you here too. So they want to know that this is 100% your idea. They don't, because you'll be the one to do the research, you'll be the one to be in the program learning. They want to hear your own story. Okay. Now, I've seen people say, okay, can I use this paragraph? Just use this AI tool to write this and that. And some people will make the argument that I can always get ideas from ChatGPT or from other AI tools, get ideas, this and that. For me, your ideas should be original. Okay. Now, if you are talking about going through it and see the pattern in which it was written, this and that, well, that's argued. I mean, that can be argued. But you have seen samples of different people. That's why we share samples with people. We see what other people have written before, see the outline. That's why I made videos on how to write code emails, how to write statement of purpose, and the like, taking it paragraph by paragraph. And by the way, if you have not seen the video I made on how to write statement of purpose before, you need to see it paragraph by paragraph. Now, when you go with AI tools, many times some of those things are not even perfect. They are not perfect. They are not in alignment with what schools require. In fact, many schools these days, they have this a particular outline, the way they want students to follow, applicants to follow. So if you use AI tool and then you just bring it in and then you make a little change here and there, it's not your flow. It's not your no. Everyone writing has a way they flow. So there's a way right up from AI and all this other stuff flow that is totally different from humans or many people. So when you say, oh, I will just let it write it, then I will edit it myself. There is not much you can do that will still change the flow. You can edit details, but you won't be able to edit the flow. So you want your write-ups to be your flow. Let it be original. Let it be original. Okay. Now, does all the AI tools, do they have their own or their own whatever? Yeah, advantages. Yeah, you can use them for different things. In fact, someone has contacted me before, and that's told me they were building an AI to help people write in SOP, and all you need to do is just input your details, input your department, what you are interested in doing, all these things. You just input it. Now, of course, you've not seen me. I've not shared that on my timeline before to encourage people to use it, because I'm still very skeptical about what it generates. So you input your details, you input where you went to school, blah blah blah, and then the AI stuff generates an SOP for you. Now my problem is this: if 10 people who studied the same course, let's say I have a classmate, we graduated from physics together, same year, same blah blah blah. Let's say we both had the first class and the likes, blah blah. We both worked in the same research area. Like I have a friend, we both finished from UI, we both had first class, we both do research in the same area during our master's program and the likes. And then we went to use that AI tool, and then we imputed almost the same thing, and we are all both interested in doing same line of research. Let's say we are now like 3 or 4 or 5. Imagine what the AI tool will generate. Almost the same thing for both of us. So there is the individuality is lost in that process. And that is my fear, because many people don't really want to um, spend the time writing, sitting themselves, thinking, ransacking their brain, trying to see what they can put in their, that individuality, that personality wise thing. People don't want to sit and do that. They just want something very fast. So the AI tool will generate almost the same thing for both of you, maybe different words and all those things, different expressions, but similar flow. That's what you will see in the write up. And when graduate admission committee members read such, they already know this is AI, even without turning it in yet, they will know. But of course, to fulfill all righteousness, they will turn it in and then try to check for AI plagiarism and the like, and they will find it there. So ultimately, it leads to plagiarism. Ultimately, that's my own opinion of using AI tools to write your recommendation letters, your code email. For code, you should not even think about how will you write code email with AI. Are you not trying to tell the professor what you have done, what your experiences are, your skills, the skills that you have? That's what you're writing. So why should you use ChatGPT to write code email? Why should you use it to write SOP? So I agree, people will say, oh, some people cannot write this and that. That is why there are samples. That is why there are videos, lectures everywhere on how to write it. The video I made it so simple that it is paragraph by paragraph. I mentioned what should be written paragraph by paragraph, paragraph by paragraph. I explained all those things there. So go out and look for such videos, out for such samples. I even read some of my samples. I think my wife's samples. I read it out there too. So look out for these things and use it. AI ultimately will lead many people into plagiarism. Ultimately, that is what is going to happen. So you don't want to fall into that kind of situation. You don't want to fall into the situation where your admission will be withdrawn because it tested positive in code for plagiarism check. You don't want that kind of situation. Okay, so as much as possible, avoid or limit the use totally. I know some people will have a different argument, and one of the argument is, once I ask it to write the SOP, I will change it myself. But the flow will still be there. You can't. The flow will be there. You want your original flow. You want your original idea to be there. Okay, and that is what you should do. So ultimately, what will I say? Should you use AI to? Personally, I think no. Personally, I think no. Now, some people may say, okay, I want to check with the AI tool just what I've written to check what it looks like. Some people throw in their CV into AI tool, some people throw in, yeah, but so far you are not tampering with what you have written yourself. As as concerning getting ideas from AI tool, well, to an extent, I think yeah, but personally, I would still say as much as possible, avoid it. It's becoming a what do you call it now these days, a very common thing, a cancer in quote. And everyone out there who is receiving reviewing your application and all these things, they are looking forward to it, to be able to test it, to be able to see if it tests positive for in quote for AI, for artificial intelligence. Okay, so please write it yourself. It's very important. These things are not very difficult. They are not very difficult. They are things you can learn. If you say you are not good with writing, at least just start out. You have your own flow. Start out. When you start out, write it, give it to a second eye to check for you, a friend, someone, a senior colleague somewhere. Let them check for you. Okay. In fact, sometimes the one beautiful way to do it is to write and then come back later to it and check it. By the time you are reading it again, you get new insights. You ideas come again, things to add, things to remove. You write it again, keep it again, come back to it again. As you write, you get new insight, new ideas. Give it to a friend to read, to review, to check for grammar. Now, of course, you can use AI for checking grammar, right? That's correct. That's absolutely possible. That's absolutely acceptable. Okay, I use one of these AI to check for spellings too when I write. Okay, to check for spelling, sometimes tenses that are not correct, that are not. So you can use AI tool for such. For example, you are meant to write in the past tense, and then you are writing in the present tense. You can use AI tools to check for that. Okay, that's very, very, very possible. But don't fall into that what do you call it, temptation of using it to write your whole set thing from the very beginning. It can be very disastrous. It can land you into trouble. Okay, so yes, you can use AI to the checks for spellings and the like, little mistakes that people don't really catch easily. Yes, AI tools can catch that for you, but don't say, oh, just to generate all the write up for you. It's people detect. So the story I was talking about. So this person used AI to write um, what do you call it? Um, cold email, and then eventually the person observed that no, this is AI, this person is so funny, blah blah blah. So those are the things that happen eventually. Okay, they will catch you that you are using AI too, and they will not take you serious. Okay, they will not take you serious. They will see you as someone who is very unserious. You say you are doing research in this area and you cannot even write this yourself, so they will not take you serious. The funding you want, the admission, blah blah blah, they won't take you serious. So in summary, AI tool can be used at that level of checking for corrections, checking for um, grammar, past tense, vocabularies, and the like. AI tools can be used for that. Yes, many of us use it. Okay, while we are writing, the AI is correcting, trying to see those errors, to pick out those errors. And I've also mentioned the fact that I'm also skeptical about using AI tools in the sense of just dropping in your information, dropping in your profile. You say, oh, I'm from Nigeria, I'm department of this, you drop it. This you drop it. What I'm looking for, you drop it, and then make the AI to generate a write-up based on the information you have submitted. I don't really subscribe to that because, again, it can lead to plagiarism if people with the same profile as you drop around the same profile. Your write-up will be very, very, very similar. Have you tried to use ChatGPT before and you just drop in GPT a question? If you ask a similar question, it will not give exactly the same answer, but it will give answers similar to what it has given you before, because the question is still in that same line. So it's the same thing as dropping in your information, similar information, different people dropping similar information. It gives out around similar write up. So eventually, let's even say both of you are applying to the same department. Then the people there will just be looking at you like, this is plagiarism. Who copied who? Okay, so you don't want to fall into that temptation. You don't want to fall into that temptation. It is very important that you are very careful when it comes to that. All right, let me allow folks to ask questions. If you have any question, quickly, you can ask your question uh, before we end this. I love giving opportunity for questions. So if you want to ask a question in 1 2 minutes, let's see. Isaac, yeah, thank you so much. I can see you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. I can see you then. All right. If you have any question, you can drop it quickly in the chat box, and then let's answer that. Yeah, I have a flight to catch today. I hope the weather is not disturbing. It's very cold out here. It's freezing. It's been raining snow. Is that the correct grammar? Raining snow. All right. Okay. It seems there are no questions. So, of course, if you are watching this video later, sometimes later, and you have questions, just drop it there. I'll see it. But ultimately, I believe you should write some of these things yourself. AI tools can be used at the level of correcting. I mean, correcting your grammar and the likes. Okay, Toby, you can ask your question, please. Yeah, so AI tools can be used at the level of correcting your grammar and then correcting tenses, vocabularies, blah blah blah. Those are some of the things. Many people use those type of tools. I use it too, but not at the level of allowing it to generate a write-up for you. Okay. The artificial intelligence flow is always different. So Toby, let me wait for your question. What's your question? Okay, Toby is writing. All right, all right. So for those who are just joining, let me just recap. I started out by talking about AI. Generally, I mean, the world is going in that direction now. Everything is going AI, blah blah blah. Yeah, but again, you have to be really, really careful. AI has its own flow. Humans really have their own flow too, and our personality, I think, comes into the way we write, our flow and the likes. And people easily detect AI when it's seen. Okay, and there are even AI tool checkers. And the disposition of many professors is that those who use it, especially use it irresponsibly, like that, generating out an output for you, are not maybe they are, it shows you are not knowledgeable in your field. It shows you don't have the skill. Writing skill is one of the things you need in graduate school. It shows you don't have some of these things. Of course, AI tools can be used in some other ways for many other things, but not to write the body of your work, not to write tell us about what you do. This is you telling about us about what you do. It should not be that hard. All right, Toby said your question isn't related to AI but publication. What weight does it carry to have a publication as a BSc holder doing application to grad school? It's good to have publication, Toby. It's very good to have a publication, but not all schools have it as a not many schools have it as a requirement that you must have a publication. In fact, I don't think there's any school that has it as a requirement that you must have a publication. Okay, but it usually affects your application positively if you have, because it's a very good thing to have. Okay, it affects your application positively. It affect publication affects it positively. But if you don't have, don't be discouraged. Still apply. I didn't have any publication when I applied. Okay, so and I know many people didn't have publications when they applied and they still got it. So make sure your SOP is strong. Make sure your research you're able to highlight your research strengths, the skills you have gained, and all these things. Make sure you're able to highlight that and show them that you can do these things. Okay, it's good to have publication, but if you don't have, it's not a problem. Okay, but if you have, it will definitely affect your publication. I mean, your application positively. Positive, but if you don't have, it's nothing to be worried about. Very many people all over the world who are applying also don't have publications. They also don't have publications. So just do your best on the other aspect, on the other side, and make sure you push your profile out well. All right, Precious, you sure you can have ask your question? You can ask your question. Isaac, you're asking, okay, always giving out good content. Thank you. What about you generate information from ChatGPT and write in your words? So I will still ask you, Isaac, what information do you want to generate from ChatGPT? Okay, what information? Give me an example of the information. Okay, because I want to believe the information you want to put in your own words ordinary before you know it, because it is you that went to school for 4 years. You are the one that went to school for another for masters. You are the one who did research in so place. You are the one who did all these things. ChatGPT does not know that. You know that about you. So what other information do you want to generate from ChatGPT? Just give me an example, and I will see if it's what we can reason with or we can reason together. All right. Timmy, you're saying you studied geography and want to apply for masters in information technology, which I have not done any research in the field, and I may find it difficult to write your SOP. Okay, yeah, that will always be a thing. Okay, I think I should pen it down. I should make a video on that very soon. How to switch to a new course. Okay, so um this is it. For anyone switching, I believe one of the things you should do is to try and gain a background knowledge in that field. Okay, I believe that's one of the things you should do. Try and gain a background knowledge. It can be a certificate course, it can be a course on all these online courses and like just to gain a general knowledge. That will help you to form a baseline for your application to that department. So people can write their statement of purpose from different perspectives. One perspective is for motivation for the course is to say you have passion for this thing. Okay, now you outline those things that drove your passion, those things that drove your passion into that research area, even though you've not done research in that line before. Okay, but you can use your passion as a drive, as a motivation. Okay, past experience can also be a motivation, which you obviously don't have, but you can use passion to push your motivation in that direction. And then one of the ways to also show that you have passion is that that passion pushes you to study something in that line. For example, to have a course, to do a course online in that line, blah blah blah. And because of this, you want to learn more in a formal setting and the like. So that's one way you can actually do that, even though you've not done research in that field before. Talk about where you have done research before. Talk about the general skills and experiences you've gained. Many of the skills that we gain can be applicable in other fields. You did you did your, let's say you did a BSc, now you did a BSc in, you studied geography. So some of the skills you have gained studying geography can be applicable in IT too. Okay, you learn how to use some devices. Okay, so you learn how to use some equipment, some applications and the likes. Now some of these basic skills of using this application can be applicable in the new field you want to go to. Okay, let's say someone who did chemistry and who is going to study in some other places, let's say microbiology and like some of the skills he has gained in that field can be applicable there. Okay, and you can push it forward to say, okay, aside from the skills you have gained, you have this passion for this, that you are very passionate about this. Okay, and then that passion led you to do an online course from, let's say, Udemy or all these other things, and then that also shows that you are really serious about your passion. Okay, that tells the admission committee that, oh, this guy is serious, let's give him a chance, he's going to do um, well. I hope that answered your question, Timmy. Okay, okay. um Let me read your question, Precious, and then answer. Yeah, what of someone like me that write my story and essay and give it to AI to rephrase or to review it? So when the AI rephrase it, I think I will have to try that first. But when it rephrase it, I think it will give the flavor of an AI. I believe you can give it to check, okay, just to review. Yes, that's possible. You can ask to review and then just so that it gives suggestions, and you read the suggestions yourself and see if the suggestions make sense or not. That's absolutely possible. Okay, you can give the AI to check, to review, to see if it makes sense, to see if the grammars are correct, punctuation is where it's meant to be. But for you to rephrase entirely, I'm very skeptical with rephrasing, Precious, honestly. I'm very, very, very skeptical because it comes back with that AI flavor, that AI flow. The beauty of human writing himself is the individualistic nature, in quote, if you want to talk about it that way. It gives your write up your own identity. Okay, and people, the professors want something original. So your write up doesn't have to be flowery, that kind of perfect speech and all those things. They want to see that it's an individual writing this. They want to see you in your write up. So when you say rephrase, I'm very skeptical, Precious, because I don't know why you want to rephrase it. But I want to believe whatever you have written, so far it follows the normal outline, what um, an SOP should be. It has all the important details. I want to believe you are very good. When I review SOP for people, I I only rephrase statements when I suggest them to rephrase statement when the statement is either ambiguous or it's not saying it's not conveying the information they wanted to convey. That's when I ask people to rephrase. Okay, but if you have your write up and it's conveys what it's meant to convey, it's not ambiguous. You want to say, I go to the lab every day to fill liquid nitrogen. That's what it's saying. And it's not something ambiguous like um, liquid nitrogen has been filled. Um, you don't know who's filling it. You don't, you want to go straight to the point and you can use your own words. So I believe I'm not really in support of rephrasing, but review to check for errors, grammatical errors, and all those things. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so Isaac, you said AI for grammar correction is good, but don't they detect that you use AI? Not necessarily. I mean, there are errors that you forgot to pick up. For example, you wanted to write, I went to the house yesterday, and you wrote, I go to the house yesterday. AI will pick it up and underline go for you, and then we make a suggestion that it should be went. Okay, that's the example of grammar that AI will correct. Let's say vocabulary, you used a word that is ambiguous, that is not meant to be there. AI may underline it because it does not follow the flow of your write up. So AI will underline it and give suggestion. It's just like someone reviewing for you. Okay. Okay, so you're asking again, Isaac. There are questions they ask in the course of the application. They may not really, you may not really understand the direction they want you to answer now. AI may direct you. Okay, so I get your question now. If suddenly they say something about diversity statement and you don't know what diversity statement means, okay, you turn it to AI to give an example of diversity statement to write something, and then you see, oh, what is what diversity statement means, and then you go down to pen down your own ideas. Yes, okay, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's very, very possible. Maybe they ask questions about in application. Give an example of sometimes of a hard time in your life when you had to struggle to do this and that, and you don't really understand what the question is saying. Then you throw it to AI, and then the AI can generate something, and then you push the AI aside and you go to form your own. Okay, not start trying to edit the AI thing. The flow will still be there with the AI. Don't try to edit it. You have read it, beautiful. Form your own, generate your own. So yes, in that sense, Isaac, I believe that is very, very, very possible. That is very, very, very possible. Okay, so Toby, you are saying you have one publication in non-STEM talking about finance. So do would you suggest I increase it to 2 or 3 before the next application cycle? Yeah, if you're applying in that same area, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. If you can, yeah, that's a good thing. If you can write more public, if you can have more publication, the more the better. Okay. So yes, you can do that. That's very, very, very possible. That's very, very possible. But just know that if it's if you are if it's if for example it's you have a publication in non-STEM field and you are applying to a STEM field, let's say physics or chemistry. I know that's not really possible, but just using that as a wild example, um, that publication may not really count much for you, okay, because it's not in the same field. So it doesn't show that you have research experience in the field you're applying for. The purpose of the publication is to show that you have research experience. You are a guru in quote when it comes to research in that particular field or area you are interested in, and you have gained some research skills, some research experience, and you have learned how to do research writing, to write. Okay, so that's one of the beauty. That's one purpose of that. All right. Okay, so it seems there are no more questions. If there are no more questions, I think this is the right time to stop and say thank you for joining in today. I really appreciate. Timmy, Timmy, you talked about having experience in one field and trying to apply for another field. I think I will put that down and see if there should be a video that should come on that. I've written tweets on that a lot of time in the past. I probably should bring that tweet back and just repost it for people to see too. But yes, I should do a video on that too. On that too. Okay. Oh, so Isaac, you said stories you write yourself and rephrased by AI will not be detected. Well, I don't know about that, but I don't know why rephrasing in the first place, because if you have written it yourself, it's good enough. Just check to see that your statements are not ambiguous and they mean exactly the same thing you want to say. Okay, just that's what I will say about that. That it will not be detected. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but I think the point should not even be will it be detected or not. The point is you putting out something beautiful, which what you have written, I tell you, is beautiful. Chinedu, you're asking, you have a question. What's the average score for GRE? Many schools usually say 300. Okay, many schools usually say 300. But I many times it will still depend on school. Some schools will require higher than that. Some will even say 310. Okay, and some may even take lower than that. Now, that the average score many schools require is 300 does not mean if you have less than that, you cannot gain admission. I've seen people who had less than 300 and they still gained admission, 290 something. I think have I seen 280 something? I think so. Okay, so many schools are even moving from GRA now. They want to move away from GRA because it's not really an indication of whether you perform well in grad school or not. It's not really an indication. In fact, research has suggested that it does not really have an effect. Okay, so many schools are trying to move away from it, but of course, you can expect um, what do you call it now? ETS and co who are making a lot of money to fight for it big time, to fight for it big time. Damilola, I didn't read your message before you retracted it. That's fine. That's fine. So you can expect that many so these ETS and co who are making a lot of money from GRE will fight to keep it that way. Honestly, many schools are moving away from it. Many schools are not requiring it again. Many schools are already making it optional. So if you have it, submit it. If you don't have it, that's fine. So if you're applying to a school that is making it optional, if you have it, I will say, oh, just submit it because it will count for you. But for some schools, they are saying they don't even want to review it again. They are not interested in it again. So yeah, 300. I usually ask people to go for at least 310 for you to be in a little above that average. 310. Many people I know are 300 and something, 30 something, 30 something. Some are 320 that I know. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Isaac, you're asking that is what someone said about AI, that if it is rephrased by AI, it will not be detected. So that's what I'm saying, that I don't know. What I believe is that it still gives the same flavor. Okay, it still gives the same flavor as AI. That's what I believe. I don't know. I've not even done it before. Probably I'll do it just as a test sometime soon. But that's what I believe, that when you rephrase it, it gives a flow, an AI flow to your statement, to your write-up. Um, so I don't really know. I don't really know honestly if it will turn up for the positive for the test. I don't know. All right, thank you folks for joining in today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Review SOP. Well, I'm not sure yet, Isaac. I have a lot on my plate. Damlola, okay, so you are now asking the question. You saw a research topic for scholarship in the university website for scholarship. Does it mean that topic you will build on or create another research topic? Because so if there is a research topic already, if the lab has a research direction, then that means when you are going in to join that research. Okay, it simply means you are going in to join that research. So if you are expected to write a research proposal, then it will be in that same direction. Okay, so for anyone who is joining any lab, just know, especially in the US, it's not like you are coming with a totally different um idea from the moon, from the blues. Okay, it's the research you still do will be in line with what is being done. Since you are joining that lab, you are not building a totally different one yourself on your own. So yes, you, if you be writing a research proposal, if you be submitting that, it will still be in line with that, with what is being done in that department. Okay, so if you see a research topic for scholarship, the university website, does it mean a topic you be will be built on that? No, you won't have to create another research topic, because if there's funding for that research area, then that's what you have to write on. Okay, the funding. So usually when funding is given, it is from this funding that people get scholarship, that students get scholarship. Agencies give funding, Department of Energy, National Science Foundation, blah, 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 they give funding. And then this funding translates to scholarship for students, because students are funded from that. So if you have that topic, so those who write proposals to those agencies, they write based on a particular direction, or they write based on, oh, nuclear structure, we want to study nuclear structure, fusion, evaporation reaction, this and that. So if a student wants to join that group or join that lab or that department, if you'll be write a proposal in that direction, what they can do based on that fund, because the funding will not go to another experiment, another type of experiment. The funding will be for that exact type of experiment. So yes, you're right, submit a research proposal in that line. All right, thank you so much to everyone who has joined in today. I really appreciate. God bless you. Real good. See you sometime soon. Thank you. And then, of course, if you feel there are people who need to see this video, share it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to. As you subscribe, we grow more people see this video. Everybody's getting blessed all together, and then it continues that way. All right, thank you. God bless you. Real good. Take care.